Hello students, in this problem we are given two graphs. The blue function represents our parent function, f of x, and the purple function represents a transformed version of the parent function. And the question asks us to use transformations to figure out what g of x is. So I'm going to start by rewriting f of x. F of x is just the parent function x cubed, and that's given to us in the description of the problem. So now we're going to look at the purple function, g of x, and try to figure out how to write this. So when we're transforming a function, we always start by rewriting our parent function, but I'm going to write it with a lot of space in between because we might need to be adding extra numbers and symbols to represent some of those transformations. So notice I put parentheses around the x, and I also left some space in there. So let's talk about some of the possible transformations that we could be seeing. One possible transformation is a negative out front before the parent function. That would represent a flip over the x-axis, so flipping it upside down from top to bottom. So if our parent function x cubed looks like this, a flipped version would look upside down, so to speak. But if you look closely at our graph, our g of x has not been flipped upside down, so we do not have a negative in front of our equation. So now let's look at the next thing that would normally go in this transformation. We would look at whether there has been a stretch or a condensing of our function. Did it get taller and skinnier, a stretch, or did it get shorter and fatter? And you might have to look kind of closely at this one, but I think it got shorter and fatter. And you can see, for instance, I'm going to use green here, that in our parent function, if we go right to 2 cubed is 8, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This function basically has a ratio of 2 to 8, our parent function does. But if you look at our new function, we have a ratio of 2 to 4. So this is half the height of the parent function. So our function has gotten shorter and fatter. It has been condensed by a factor of 2. We would write that as 1/2. So it's gotten shorter by a factor of 2, which means we divide by 2. Moving on, the next thing we will look for is whether our function has been shifted left or right. If it has been shifted left, we'll do a plus, and if it's been shifted right, we'll do a minus. Remember, these are opposites when we're doing a horizontal shift. And so I can see that if we started here and we ended here, we have shifted left 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units. So that's represented by a plus 5. The final thing we look for is a shift up or down, and looking at our graph here, I can see we've shifted up 2 units, and up shifts are represented by pluses. These are not the opposite of what you'd expect. Up and down shifts are positive and negative, respectively, whereas left and right shifts are kind of the opposite of what you would think. So that's all it takes to answer this problem. We now have our g of x. I'll write it one more time in a way that's not so color-coded. G of x is equal to 1/2 quantity x plus 5 cubed plus 2. And this represents condense by a factor of 2, shift left 5, and shift up 2. That's your answer.